Hi, I'm Ellen from ZellenEnglish. Today is our first business English course. I do have 8 years of corporate experience working in the financial services industry where I was a manager and I led a team. I also have experience interviewing candidates and making hiring decisions. So today I'm going to teach you some useful business English phrases that you can use while leading meetings. Since today's topic is leading a meeting, we will pretend that we're planning a team lunch. I'm going to cover the 5 basic areas of leading a meeting, which is starting the meeting, giving an update, asking for feedback, keeping things on track, and closing the meeting. So, how do you start a meeting? When everybody's together and you're ready to get started, you can just say, let's get started. And at that point, the meeting has officially begun and everyone should start paying attention. For example, let's get started planning our team lunch. If you want to be polite and you also want to welcome everybody, you can say, thanks for joining today. Now, thanks for joining today is actually best if you have some people who are on the phone or who are calling in virtually. But if everybody's there in the room with you, you can just say, thanks everyone for being here. So, thanks everyone for joining today. We are really excited to get everyone's opinions on planning our team lunch. Next is giving an update. It's always good to give people a little bit of context about where you are with the topic of the meeting. And so you can just start by saying, here's a quick update on where we stand. So here's an example for planning the team lunch. You can say, here's an update on where we stand with the lunch plans. We already booked a venue and we know our budget, but we need to figure out the menu. So if you do have anything negative to share, then it's good to share those in a polite and formal way, but it's also important to share them so everybody knows what's going on. So something you can say is, we've hit a few roadblocks, but we're working through them. So for the team lunch, you can say, we've hit a few roadblocks with the menu because we have some dietary restrictions that we just learned about from our team members. So I've called the restaurant and it turns out that they will be able to accommodate the dietary restrictions. Next is asking for opinions. So it's a very important part of Western business culture to give everyone a chance to speak up, share their opinions, and then feel like they are being heard. And so to do this, you can say, does anybody have any feedback? Or does anyone have any points to bring up? For example, for the lunch, you can say, does anyone have any opinions about the date that we've chosen? And this gives people an opportunity to say, oh, wait, actually, that is a religious holiday that you might not be aware of, and some people might have an issue with it. Another way you can ask for feedback is to say, let's open the floor for discussion. Now, this is better for a large meeting where there's lots of people and they might be waiting for the right opportunity to speak up and share their thoughts or opinions. So, if there's lots of people at the meeting, you can say, all right, let's open the floor for discussion. And then typically at that point, you might set aside 10 minutes to where people can just say whatever they want and talk back and forth. Finally, if you have a lot more planning to do and you want people's ideas, you can say, let's brainstorm ideas. So let's brainstorm ideas for activities that we can do during the lunch. Next is keeping things on track. So it's very important to make sure that you get through all of your agenda items. So if people start discussing things that are not relevant to the meeting, then you can politely pull things back to the agenda. And you can say, let's keep things on track, or we're getting a little bit off topic. So let's reshift our focus back to the lunch plans. Other ways you can keep things on track is if somebody starts to have a side conversation that's not relevant to the meeting, you can say, let's table that discussion for now, which means that we can talk about that later, but this is not the appropriate time. Or you can say, let's take that offline. And offline basically means away from the meeting. So if you want to talk about it later at lunch, that's fine, but now is not the appropriate time. It's a very professional way to say that. So we're getting off topic. Let's take things back to the lunch discussion. So you can take that offline or let's table that discussion for now. So now you're ready to end the meeting. And at the end of the meeting, everybody wants to know, what are the main things that were discussed? What was actually agreed upon? And people are wondering, what do I need to do? And do I need to do anything after this meeting? So to end the meeting, you can say, let's summarize our next steps and action items. So an action item is what somebody has to do after the meeting. It's something that they have to take action on. So Let's summarize our next steps and action items for planning the team lunch. And then, as the leader of the meeting, usually you will send out some type of a recap after the meeting. And a recap is basically an email that says, these are all the things we agreed to, and it also includes the action items. So you can say, all right, everyone, I will send a recap out after this meeting. Everyone have a great day. And that's the end. You just led your first meeting in corporate America. If you like this lesson, then give us a thumbs up and subscribe because next time we'll be covering business English, giving a presentation.